Tip of the Kinneret from the north side, already on the Golan Heights, overlooking towards the Kinneret, what people call the Lake of Gennesaret or the Sea of Galilee. And we can see behind me is the area of the city of Tiberias. And then actually, if you see across behind me, all the way across, you're going to see all the way to Mount Tabor. So that is the area of the Upper Galilee. When you look to my left, you're going to see already the tip of that overlooks towards the border with Lebanon, towards the mountains of Lebanon. And we came here, this is the closest we can be to able to pray and to blow shofars towards the border of Lebanon, where our IDF soldiers are fighting a very serious battle against the Hezbollah that has tried to invade and destroy the north of Israel completely. So we've come here to blow shofars, to roar as lions. We wanted to get much closer, but at this point, all the other areas above this and closer to the border have become closed military zones. In every one of our tours, we've been in those areas with absolutely no problem. But we are right now in the midst of the war for the resurrection of Israel. It's called the Iron Swords War. And this is called the Northern Arrows Operation, which is the arrows towards the north. But it really is the war for Israel redemption and resurrection. And we totally believe that as we blow those shofars and we roar as lions here with all the people coming from all over the world with the United Nations for Israel, we are going to see miracles of destruction of all of the Hezbollah as if it never existed. According to Exodus 17, when it says that he will blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven. This Amalek has really tried to burn our fields, villages. 80,000 people are still evacuated from here. They cannot come back to live here, and it's been going on for a year. And we'd say, enough is enough. Iran is, of course, working with Hezbollah for the elimination and destruction and annihilation of Israel. And we, of course, cannot allow it because it's not Yah's will. In fact, Yah's will says in his word that the whole land of Israel that's been promised to the Jewish people starts in Lebanon. Now, this Lebanon is part of the land, and it goes on all the way to the Persian Gulf through the river Euphrates and all the way to Egypt. And the river of Egypt. So it's time to redeem the land. And I believe that that's exactly what's going to happen. What the enemy meant for evil is going to be turned for the good. We are here at the Kfar Haruv. Kfar Haruv.
Here in the map, this is the south part of the Kinneret. The southmost point is the place where we stopped earlier to buy some clothes for Esther. Okay? So this is area called Tzemach where we stopped. And you can see Archbishop mentioned that the Kinneret, the name came because of its shape like what? Harp. With a bit of imagination, you can see harp here. A lot of imagination, actually. But this is the meaning of Kinneret. Okay? Now, the Kinneret is the only freshwater lake in Israel. Only one. So, like one spoiled child, we treat the Kinneret the same way. I'm not sure that in any other country in the world, the news in the radio will start by saying The Kinneret is 2 centimeters higher today than yesterday. And this is what's happening in Israel. Nowadays less, but in the past it was very, very common. Like all the people watching the sea level of the Kinneret to see if we have enough water, less water, all the time changing. Okay? And in the other side, you can see the city. This is Tiberias. Tiberias, 2,000 years old city, established by the son of King Herod the Great that we talked about him when we been to Jerusalem in there. Now, we can see the north part of the lake, of the Kinneret. Up there, the highest mountain, this is the Upper Galilee. When we look at the map, if you look at the map over here, this is the Kinneret. We are right now here, in this point, looking down to the Kinneret, and this is the Upper Galilee. Okay, so the Galilee divided into 2 sections. The north part is the Upper Galilee, the lower part is the Lower Galilee. The most famous mountain in the Lower Galilee, look at this beautiful round mountain over there. Mount Tabor. Mount Tabor, yes. Some Christians believe. So this is the Lower Galilee, and this is the Upper Galilee, and north of the Upper Galilee is Lebanon. So when we talk about the battle nowadays between Israel and Lebanon, we're talking about the border in here. Okay? By the way, this area, which is a Hula Valley, we call it in Israel the finger of the Galilee. Why the finger of the Galilee? Because if you put your hand like that, you see this is the border, and then it goes north like the finger pointing to the north. Okay? And that's why this area got the nickname of the finger of Galilee in there. Exactly. This is the direction of the mountains of Lebanon. Now, I want to explain what I said earlier in the bus about the 200-meter that actually blew almost the agreement between Israel to Syria, blew it to the sky. Before the Six-Day War, the Syrians could come into the Kinneret. Even though the border between Israel and Syria actually detected in the year 1923 between the 2 superpowers at that time in this area, Great Britain and France. Wonderful. France, after the First World War, they conquered the whole area and they divided the area between them. Jordan and Israel and Egypt were part of the British Empire. Lebanon and Syria was part of French. Okay? And they decided how to put the border between the two. And the British insisted that all the water sources that going into Israel will be part of Israel, of what they call Palestine. Why is that? Because water is very important thing. And you don't want somebody else to control the water that you drink. So they put the border 10 meters east of the shores of the Kinneret. This is officially the border. Okay? Unfortunately, after 48, after the War of Independence, the Syrian didn't respect it and came into the water of the Sea of the Kinneret in the north part over there. Actually, the original border should be 200 meters away from the water line. But they were down there. And President Assad said, if we make a peace treaty, I want to put my legs again in the lake. It means he wanted control all the way into the water. And Israel said, no, you can come only 200 meters from the water level. And just because of that, this peace treaty was never actually signed. Because when we see what happened in Syria later, thinking of coming with ISIS and all those issues that came in Syria later, when we think about it, that all these things will happen here, just above us, wow, this can be a disaster. And it didn't happen, 1999, they didn't sign, and all the rest is history. And that's why those 200 meters, it sounds nothing. Who cares? Come on. Sometimes people can give one another 200 meters of land. But in this case, it is very, very important issue. And that's why it never signed in here. Okay? Now, from time talking about nowadays, we have several problems from the borders around. We heard about what happened from Jordan in the Dead Sea this morning. Missile being shot from Lebanon over the Galilee, the west part of the Galilee, the upper Galilee, and from time to time, some things coming from the east, from Iraq, from Syria, like drones and others.
Welcome. It makes very emotional to see people from the world coming here on those days. Actually, we feel alone for a year. And nobody comes, and we have also the cabins for tourists, and they are empty. Actually, they are not empty because they are occupied with people that had to leave their home from the north, and they came at October 8, and they asked if we have a place for them. The border with Lebanon, they came over at the same time that the south did it, and there are few of them still here. Some of them went to other places in the country to find temporary home, or not home, but a place to sleep, to stay. So it's a big mess. Anyhow, Kfar Haruf, as Avner told you, it's since 73, after Yom Kippur War. We had one group that came before the war, but then there were young people. Most of the people here in Kfar Haruf are from the youth movement, from the scouts. And we came through some program with the army, and then after the army settled here. I came over in 1984 after being an officer in the army. We are approximately now 500 people. Some of them are members and some of them are not members, but residents and part of the kibbutz. We have agriculture, we have a big dairy, actually huge dairy. We have a factory. Here it's quiet. Why? First of all, we are too close to Syria. So it's too close, there is no interest. Everything is going above us. So we have a lot of airplanes, a lot. Some nights we can't sleep, and we have a lot of bombs, explosions, and noises. But it's quiet. You know,
Comparing to other places, yes.
As Einstein said, compare everything. You know, everything is relative. So. And then we are, but we are part of all what happened, and we don't know. We always on alert. I have the walkie-talkie. It's the army walkie-talkie here with me. Ah, it's here. Oh, so I won't forget it. So we have to prepare. Everyone, my son-in-law, Avner's son, is in the Lebanon border now. He's not at home since before Rosh Hashanah. My child with her children, my granddaughters, are alone dealing with this, and this is all over the country, and you have to carry it for more than a year now, and there's a fear, and it's a long and tough war that the different from other wars that we have before, and I have enough wars in my history life in Israel. This is different because the civilians are part of it. It was never like this. And every person in Israel has at least one relative that happened to him something in this war. Lost friends, lost people, and so. But we are here, and we have hope, and we are strong, and we are sure that we will win prevail and be better, and be better in all meanings, also inside and also between us people in Israel, because we came to this war in a very bad situation, and we must change it. And the most important for us is every day, every night, every minute to pray for our hostages. They must come back. This is unnormal and unbearable situation, and no one in the world should let this thing continue.
As Ganit says, actually somebody put it in one phrase: if you want peace, prepare for war.
Amen.
Yeah,
If you want peace, prepare yourself for the war.
That's right.
Because when you are strong enough, you can keep peace.
That's
If
right.
you are weak, they will take the peace from you.
That's exactly
it.
right.
Okay?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The other thing we say, אין לי ארץ אחרת. We don't have any other land.
No, we don't.
This is the only one.
This is it.
So we don't have any other
Choice.
place to go.
That's right.
Ganit mentioned the people who live in this camp now. I'm not sure that you're aware of that more than 70,000 people of the north part of Israel had to leave their homes,
Yeah, 80,000.
including my own son. My other
The
son,
other son.
yes, Shai, is my son that live in Kfar Haruv. My elder son, Omri, live in a kibbutz near the border with Lebanon. He, with his family, had to leave 7 October. When we were in the hotel in Jerusalem, they left home, and since then they never get back. 70,000 people like that are actually like refugees.
Refugees
They
in their
are
own land.
refugees
In
in
their
their
own
own land.
That's right.
That's something unbelievable. And this is something that should be solved, hopefully, in the near future.
We're very grateful for Ganit and for all of them that are holding the fort here, you know, that are standing, because the people that come to the north, they must be visionaries. You must understand why you're here. Most people that come to the north, and even as closer to the border as Shai is, you know, your son is up there in Misgav Am, they have to know why they're there. I mean, of course, they can look at the view and say, wow, I'm here because of the view. Amazing view, and maybe the prices are a bit cheaper. Why? Quite a lot cheaper than, let's say, Tel Aviv or even Jerusalem. But the truth is that most people that came to the north to start with, they came as pioneers. They came here because somebody had to make sure that the north of Israel is settled with people, Zionist people, that will hold the fort against the enemy. From the beginning, when we established the land, we established the State of Israel, we knew that we were going to have a lot of enemies. It was very obvious to us that we're surrounded. We've got Syria, you know, right there, also in the northeast, and Jordan in the east, and then Lebanon in the north, and Egypt in the south, and then nowadays, and Iraq and Iran further on, which today is not any further anymore. Today, with the ballistic missiles, it's become very, very close. So we knew that, and so the people that came here are like the grassroots pioneers of Israel. Okay, these are the grassroots pioneers of Israel. At the beginning, when Israel was established as a state, many of them came and they worked the land. They really worked hard because it wasn't an easy place to let's say, possess with agriculture. It wasn't easy, but they worked very hard. Now, the Ganit, how many years have you been living in Kfar Haruv?
Since 1986.
1986?
Almost
38 years, 37, 38 years. Yeah, 38
almost
years.
40 years because I came.
And she's some of the
82.
younger generation of the North, okay? Because there's people that came much earlier than that. In fact, already in the 20s and the 30s, there were people that were establishing kibbutzim and moshavim and the Galilee, but not up here.
Only down the hill, down the
After the
valley.
6-Day War.
After the 6-Day War, few kibbutzim.
And then after the Yom
and
Kippur
then
War.
Yom Kippur. So from Yom Kippur, we had, after 10 years, my group came.
Yes.
But it's true that people that living here, most of them are pioneers, and I believe that we should live here because it's not easy. Still,
it's not.
those days, in spite, I'm putting aside the war, but every day it's far. It's not in the middle country. You don't get all the services.
Yeah.
You should believe. Why you are living here.
Yes, of course.
And you are always too close to the border. You are
Always.
always here.
In that sense, in danger. So they've got to have faith to stand their ground in this place. Amen.
And we are growing.
And
we are growing.
you have more
and more people are coming to the Golan in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Really, a lot.
Since the Yom Kippur War, many of them. And even Trump started a city here. Well, he didn't, but we put the name of Trump there in the village, in the Yishuv, on the Golan Heights. And I believe personally that after this war, there's going to be a boom of Olim Chadashim, new immigrants. They are going to come from all over. They're going to come from America, from South America, from France and everywhere, and Russia, of course, Ukraine. And they're going to begin to find places to live, and the prices here are going to be very, very good because they want the whole place to be restored and to be reestablished.
But we are not selling.
Huh? You're not, but all over the Galilee. All over the Galilee, all over the north, it's going to be more construction, more building. The Galilee is going to become filled. What the enemy meant for evil, which is to evacuate everybody, that we will not live here anymore, is going to get 7 times back to sender, misfire, backfire, malfire, as we say to every rocket. And he's going to have to eat his hat because there's going to be a lot of Israelis that are going to settle this area, new immigrants, Olim Chadashim, that will come here as well. And that's our prayer. Amen. Thank you, Dganit. We're going to be praying for you and praying for your safety here and for you to bloom and keep on blooming all the way through.
Thank you.
We're very happy, very proud of you for your stand here. It's beautiful. Amen. You know, when the Apostle Paul says, rejoice in Adonai always, and again I say rejoice. When Nehemiah even tells the people in the midst of weeping, the joy of the Lord is your strength. And we talked much about the rejoicing in the feast of Sukkot. That is a commandment to rejoice. Well, among many of the believing Jews, the Orthodox Jews, there is a slogan that goes like that. It says, there is a commandment, the mitzvah, or a good deed, is to be always in joy. And this is the picture of one of the soldiers that actually fell, Sergeant Uri Yitzhak Haddad, that fell here. And even though he's a fallen soldier, his memorial sticker is what he always espoused in his life, which is always to be in joy, even in the hardest of the situations. And when we put Adonai above anything, we are able to rejoice even in the hardest of the situations, as the North is going through right now in Israel. This is another one. This is another sergeant that fell here. Sergeant, his name is Yakir Yaakov Levi. And this was his slogan, what he said when he was alive. He says, Im ani lo elachem, mi ilachem bimkomi. If I will not fight, who will fight instead of me? In other words, if I do not answer the call, then somebody else will answer the call and will lay down their lives. But I prefer to lay down my life first. And that is the spirit on our IDF soldiers. That's the spirit.
It is very prophetic for me to walk the land and speak to the land. The land is speaking to me. And, it's the prophecy that says that every man from every nation must come and hold on to the tzitzit of a Jew, because we know that the Yahweh is with them. So I'm walking this land behind Ima, Archbishop Dominiquae Bierman, holding on to a tzitzit because I know that Yahweh is with her and I must follow. And I'm very thankful to be here.
This is my fourth Jerusalem march, and this is always like exciting, more and more exciting every year, to see the Jewish people and love them and hug them and wish them Hag Sameach and show them love. It's amazing. And it's amazing how they receive it also, how they take it into their hearts and love us back. That's wonderful.
This is absolutely a blessing and fantastic to be in the land of Israel, in Zion, and to be here, stand up for the Jews and show love to the Jews, make restitution and also ask for forgiveness of what we in Europe have in our history, what happened to the Jews that have been slaughtered. So we are here to show love, show respect for this country, Israel and Jerusalem.
Actually, this is the greatest privilege to walk with the Jewish people, feel how they feel, go down when the bomb falls down. I'm here on behalf representing my government and the 10 million people plus people of the nation of Papua New Guinea who loves Israel, and they couldn't be here. Again, it's the greatest privilege to walk with the Israelis right here. Am Israel, Am Israel, Am Israel Chai. Am Israel, Am Israel, Am Israel Chai.